Welcome to Marvel with Metatron. I am your Cychadelic, Cychopomp, Chase, Clarence, Calloway, and you are tapping into the root of the symmetry so you can tune in to the mind of Mercury. And as we tune into the mind of Mercury together, because look, sometimes I get out of my own mind, okay? As a space, I like to get out of my own mind. I like to get out of my own planet. I like to get out of my own thoughts and feelings and just observe clarity. That's what real meditation is. That shit's nice, okay? And sadly, all right, we're in a white supremacist Masonic world where we are not taught how to meditate. We're not taught that we're space. We're not taught that we created our life. We're not taught that we are choosing to connect with each other because we are all gods right now. These Masons are using Marvel and are using the Bible to teach us that we are not the creators of our own realities. We are not the creators of our own circumstances. They're teaching us that we need to be saved by their idea of who a real child of God is. So really, they'll tell you that you're a child of God, but then teach you that as a false child of God, you need to worship the one true child of God. And that one true child of God sacrificed himself to the Masonic government that is spreading genocide to indigenous peoples across the globe so that they can be justified in doing that. And now you're supposed to also support that because your idea of being a superhero has been completely colonized. Just completely colonized. It's a shame. So here we are in Marvel with Metatron, where I, as CymaTree, am updating Mercury. Okay, so Mercury is now CymaTree, but it's both the same. So I'm just expanding the labels in which I'm communicating about myself. And that's where I, as Metatron, the spirit that comes in many forms, but wisdom always adorns what I wear. Whatever. When I'm flying away from Mercury, this is where I have to communicate in ways that other people don't if I'm going to make more sense. So this is what I've been doing for eons. And my main way of communicating in a way that no one else does is by building my own heaven. And everyone else should do this. So my family does this. My family does this. The people who've been learning from me, we do this. But this world is fucked up and lost. That's why I'm here talking about this. And they stole all this shit from me. So their concepts of heaven and hell stolen from me. The point of me as Metatron doing things the way I do them is that I built my own heaven. And I'm so happy alone in my heaven that I have all my own structures. I have all my own gifts, all my own fruits, all my own wisdom, knowledge, never-ending knowledge. True wisdom is knowing that all knowledge is made up. So there's endless books to read, but like all that knowledge is made up. You can make up your own knowledge. So this is where you gotta get that spirituality, basically. Spirituality creates the wisdom that allows you to make knowledge matter. I'll repeat that. Spirituality creates the wisdom that allows you to make knowledge matter. There's infinite knowledge in all universes. None of that knowledge matters to you. It matters to the spaces that made it up so that they can connect with other spaces, but it doesn't matter to you unless you connect with yourself in a way that makes you feel like you're in resonance with that knowledge. And that's why we're all on Earth right now. That's why these words matter. If I literally did not have the wisdom to connect with these words, this knowledge in a certain way, I wouldn't be able to regurgitate them to communicate to you what I see here in internet investigations with my double I. Indigenous internet investigations. The whole point is you being able to see my imagination and see how the imagination of Irocell, of Metatron, created all of the nature that we're in. And the imagination of Metatron works with the imaginations of all the spirits in Atlantis. And there's a bunch of spirits helping build Mercury. So Metatron, as the mind that builds Mercury, has his whole own family. That was Odin time, building Mercury family. Okay, because that's in Zoroastrian time, building Mercury family. Any time that my space was called away or experiencing life, it was planting symmetries and branching throughout realities so that it could support how families connect with one another. It's that simple. Before we get into religion, before we get into any government, like that's all, like I just described where all forms of religion and where all forms of government come from. It's literally just families wanting to regulate and control how spaces connect with one another. And then they want to harness the energy of it. So this is where Marvel, these Masons, are using all these ideas that they stole from Hermes Trismegistus, they stole from the libraries that they burned down throughout the indigenous world, so that they can sell you lies. So they stole the truth from libraries, and then they named those libraries because they're just liars. And this language is meant to lie to you. English is a lie. And English was created to separate you from your space. That's why I created Dissect the Dialect, to show you how lies don't matter without the truth. So now here we are alchemizing English, which was garbage, into great genuine gold, because we have the Hermetic wisdom, we have the Hermetic perspective on how this language literally doesn't matter without our universal truths. So then this is why everything has to still be architectural. And especially if they want to practice witchcraft on us, the whole point is they stole this wisdom from Metatron and are trying to weaponize it against everybody. So they're creating things that are meant to separate you from your space, but they, as a space, are creating this thing based on how they want to connect with your space, which means that just paradoxically, you also have to connect with your space to even be able to connect with their thing. So they intend to separate you from your space, and this language does a good job. But once you check out all of Dissect the Dialect, you look at every letter, you can relate it to numbers, and you see the elements, then this language becomes a totally different beast. This language becomes a totally different matrix. It's literally like just getting codes, basically, or whatever. When you're watching the Matrix, and Neo can fly and do all this stuff because he's more aware of how the numbers in his reality connect. That's the point of Dissect the Dialect. That's the point of learning the actual history of English. So now, when we look at all these words, when we look at the world, and we're aware that A is fire, B is water, C is air, D is earth, E is blood, we're aware of how they all have their own numbers. So A is 1 is individuality, B is 2 is connection, C is 3 is communication. I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, triple C, triple communication. D is 4, that's earth. E is 5, that's energy. Your blood is energy, right? The only reason I matter right now is because I'm creating energy that is manipulating blood, and that's all my 5 energy. That's all 5, and then that's finally. So now my blood, my energy, can manifest a family of cells that are allowing me to transform through reality and show you my face, my fuck. In general, I can fuck the universe because now I'm transforming. That's why F is creation. Okay, so F as fuck is number 6, because E is 5 being blood transformation. That shows us how we are all using our energy to create. So we're all using our blood to create. So blood and then life. Life is like the simulation that makes your blood real. So think of your body as a simulation that makes your blood real. Otherwise, your blood would just, be on the ground, unsustainable. It would literally just be energy. Right? So this is why you had to take the blood from your mom and use your mind and your soul to consciously create these connections that allow your space to experience its egotistic desires. So that's all just whatever, some Mercury wisdom for you, important for you to know, because when we're in this world, these Masons, Marvel, the Holy Bible, they're weaponizing everything that I just told you to make you hate yourself. So, and it's not this world. This world is beautiful. The world is nature. Their system, this New World Order system, has stolen everything that it can from the world so that it can teach the world how to hate itself. Because that's how they want to make money off the world. So you're the world, I'm the world. When they catch us, like when they make us say we hate the world, when people are like, I hate the world, we're really saying we hate ourselves, because we are the world. We make up the world. The thing we hate is the system. We hate the organization that is forcing us to communicate in this world in a certain way. The system is broken. The world is not. The system doesn't even understand how the world works. The system is creating Jesus as an excuse to cannibalize the world and lie about it. And they've been doing it for a while. It's disgusting. So these are the people that make Marvel matter. And this is why in our second episode, we're looking at Yahweh, okay? Because their whole Christians and Jews are just the biggest walking contradictions. The fact that they've stolen all this wisdom from Metatron and then are selling it like they are the one true God, and like they created all the individuals that they barely understand and that they're taking all their ideas from, is beyond insane. It's so ugly. Like, it's so disgustingly wrong. They're so demonic. It's, oh wow, like they're just so beyond evil and beyond ugly. Okay, just beyond ugly. For them to create their one most high God, like, oh yes, our God is the one true God. He allows us to rape and murder people and not feel bad about it. Now we can spread genocide to all the gods that we're stealing from and say that they were created by us while we cause climate change because we don't know how nature works. Come on. Come on. You guys are so ugly, man. And I was forced to live my whole life causing health problems so that I could serve you, so I could serve the government that has stolen my ideas to teach me that nature doesn't work naturally. It works because one man is using all of us to talk to himself, and that man is money. And they just stole money from Metatron. They're just using numbers to manipulate your emotions. It's just all our Tehuti Chase Your Genes wisdom, okay? ChaseYourGenes.com. We show you how numbers make elements matter. So money only matters. Money, this number doesn't exist without your emotion. Those are your elements. But now the people with money are teaching your emotions. They're teaching you that your emotions don't matter and that you need to use your emotions to work for them. Contradiction. That's a Jewish contradiction. How can Jews teach you that your emotions don't matter, that you're of sin, but then also teach you that you need to work for money? If your emotions didn't matter, then they wouldn't want you to work for money. And they sure as hell wouldn't use money to enslave you and then lie about your history. What? They're just walking so disgusting. So here's the biggest walking contradiction that they have, right? They say that their one God, Yahweh, created everything in existence. Everything in existence came from him, yet they made him up after they stole everything from Hermes. They made him up after they stole everything from Zoroaster. They made him up after they stole everything from Quetzalcoatl. They made him up after they stole everything from Tehuti. They made him up after they stole everything from Chiquetet. They made him up after they stole everything from Odin. They made him up after they stole everything from Nabu. They made him up after they stole everything from Ningishzida. They made him up after they stole everything from many other indigenous individuals that Mercury was working with to make astrology and thus nature real. The first matrix is nature. Before Masons went to build their metallic matrix that cannibalizes nature and causes climate change and destroys the environment that we very naturally and harmoniously cultivated by breathing life into existence together. They're so disgusting, and they're constantly poisoning the air because they don't want us to breathe healthily. They're forcing us to wear masks because they're saying that we need to be scared of a virus, while at the same time they're the ones constantly poisoning the air and poisoning our food with plastic, poisoning our water with plastic, poisoning everything we consume with petroleum and oils and just toxins. But then they're going to say that for our safety, we need to not breathe. But they're not going to clean the air. They're going to keep making money polluting the air. They're so disgusting, so demonic. They're so evil. So Marvel is the epitome of like a Mason's imagination. And we're going to see how contradictory they are in their own imagination, because their imagination literally doesn't matter without Mercury. Okay? A Mason's imagination does not matter without Mercury. And Mercury is the first Mason. All right? Zarathustra, Tehuti, the Taurus, Mason. Okay? Chase, Clarence, Calloway, Mason. It's all about being born in May and embodying the Taurus energy so that you build structures that allow spaces outside of yourself to connect with each other. That's what it means to be God. That's God. That's what it means to be God. You create structures that allow spaces outside of yourself to connect with one another. This is where Jews stole their idea of free will from me, from Metatron, literally. Because they learned from Metatron that this reality was built by the spaces that made astrology so that they could connect with each other. This is literally what they learned from Metatron. Okay, I'm objectively telling you right now. They twist it into, oh, so we can rape and murder whoever we want because Jesus saved us from our sins. They turned it into that. because they're evil. Like, just straight up. But objectively, this is what they were learning. They learned, and this is why they had to weaponize the truth to sell lies. That's why they weaponized the truth of Metatron being the voice of God. Because they literally heard God from me, M-E, Tatron, from M-E, Curie, Mercury. So it's right there in the language. Like, it's right here in the language. This language was created by me, Metatron, Mercury. I'm not directly responsible for it. I created the ideas that Masons stole from me so that they could manifest their matrix. And then this is how they have been spreading evil. But now Metatron is managing evil. So Metatron has basically been working to manage evil. And this is what it looks like. I wish we could all do better. But the point is, we're not in control of spirits outside of ourselves. So when I, as Metatron, am building a structure for spaces outside of myself to connect, it's a lot of negative Virgo energy, and it's impossible to manage how people connect outside of myself. I'm not in control of you. I'm not in control of the US government. I'm not in control of any government or any circumstance or any situation outside of myself. I'm in control of my space and how I communicate my imagination into existence and how I structure my bodies. That's what I'm in control of. So again, Jews literally learned that this whole reality was built by Metatron doing this with his family repeatedly in many different forms. So this is why they consider Metatron the voice of God. They are weaponizing Mercurian astrology to make money off of teaching you that you need to sacrifice yourself to the government. But guess what? Behind closed doors, they are worshiping Metatron so hard for creating the platform where they can cannibalize people and lie about it. Metatron does not support that, but this is what they're doing. And they're worshiping Metatron and being happy to Metatron for creating the platform, the Tehuti Taurus toroid platform, the simulation, the heaven, all right, number 10 in Zoroastrian zodiacs. They are so obsessed with Taurus because they're obsessed with how Metatron manifested this simulation matrix heaven that allows them to use astrology to manifest their desire. And their desire is to enslave you. So they're not going to teach you about your own astrological chart. They need to use astrology to enslave you to build their world. And their world justifies genocide. And they use superheroes to do it. They use Spider-Man to do it. They use Superman to do it. They use all their superheroes. Iron Man. Iron Man, literally, he's only big because his dad sold weapons and invested in genocide. They used metallic technology to spread genocide and made money doing that. And that is the Masonic superhero known as Iron Man. So now he inherits his shit from his father, and he can keep walking in his father's footsteps. But now instead of selling weapons, he's going to become the weapon because that's more heroic. So look, the hugest contradiction, all right, that all their contradictions spur from is that they are somehow the ones connected to the one true God, and everything's connected by one true God, when literally they had to learn how this reality was created from a God completely separate from themselves. So that's why in their stories they say that Enoch is the grandfather of their religion, because they feel like cannibalizing indigenous peoples allows them to wear blackface and join the family. This is literally the mind of a Masonic Jew. That's how they built the Americas. It's very disgusting. So here they are, right? Marvel Comics. Yahweh. We're going to see how they're trying to say that he's the one true God, but then they're only going to contradict themselves infinitely because he's not going to be using everyone to talk to himself. To be one God means being alone in your own space. That's what it means to be one God. To be one individual imagination means that you are alone in your circumstance, because only you as a space inside of your circumstance can see what you're imagining. No one outside of your space can see your imagination. That's because they're not you as a spirit. They can only see their imagination. If you want to see their imagination, you would have to find a way to talk to them. And even then, you're not going to see what they see. You're going to see what they communicate to you. And that's intentional Virgo shit. That's where I'm very aware of how my soul is not showing to anyone. No one can see how I feel or how I connect. No one can see my memories. No one can see my past lives. When people look at me, they see how they feel about my body. projection being perception. Okay, so that's why you can be watching this and not even believe that I'm Metatron. You're just looking at me and perhaps watching this for entertainment and using me to talk to yourself. And you're doing it in your different form of consciousness. Okay, so everyone who's watching these videos, everyone who taps into the root of the symmetry is at different forms of consciousness. That's why I'm Clarence Calloway. I don't care about holding on to my past lives. I'm way more happy being me right now because I know what I'm building upon. You don't know what I'm building upon because you can't see my past. So my body is showing, my soul is flowing, but you can't see my past, you can't see my soul, you can't see my feelings. You are literally lost in your own feelings. How you feel about my structures is not how I feel about my structures. When I build the pyramids, the way that Masons feel about the pyramids so that they can put them on a dollar bill and use them to enslave you is not how I feel about them. I felt like building the pyramids because I want to encourage your liberation and encourage the energetic growth of life on planet Earth. Masons love the pyramids because they see them as a way to enslave people. So they see the opposite. So this is where projection is perception. No matter what you build, people are only going to really be able to see themselves inside of you. So that's why these Masons will also use all of my teachings to justify genocide, because they just see their desire to cannibalize, rape, and consume and lie inside of the truth. So when they look at water, they just see evil because they're bringing evil into the universe. This is why it's important to watch out who you connect with. Yahweh. You're a geneticist. You're telling me you believe in some bearded guy standing on a cloud? That's a quote from Spider-Man. Hilarious. So yeah, Spider-Man is Marvel's weaponization of Quetzalcoatl. So know that Metatron is like the spiritual space of Mercury when he creates a form and sends messages. That's why Jews worship him as the voice of God. Quetzalcoatl is one of the messengers of Mercury. Quetzalcoatl is the costume designer of Mercury. So this is why Quetzalcoatl, he combines Hermes and Tehuti to literally create the symmetry connections that allow spirits to connect with one another. And that's really the idea of building Earth. So now when you build Earth, other spirits can use that Earth to connect with one another. And now they can use that Earth to build their families. That's the energy of Quetzalcoatl. So that's how they weaponize Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl is your family friendlyhood, Spider-Man. Family friendlyhood. Hilarious. Family friendlyhood. Literally though, your family friendlyhood Spider-Man. I'm making the point that Earth is created to support families. It's that simple. So when a spirit, when Metatron is sending any messenger of Mercury out to build Earth, it's always to support the manifestation of families, of functional families. So Hermes is Metatron sending a messenger of Mercury out, being more in his fire energy. Tehuti is the messenger of Mercury Metatron sends out to be more in his water energy. So that plays out more in Africa. Hermes plays out more in Europe. And then when Metatron evolves these two aspects of himself and combines them into greater alchemy, this is like hermetic Metatron alchemy of growing yourself at two different points in time and then fusing these elements of who you are with yourself to become a greater aspect of you. So that's who Quetzalcoatl is. Quetzalcoatl is called Spider-Man. Like Marvel stole this shit from Quetzalcoatl. They call him Spider-Man because he connected everything with Hermes and everything with Tehuti into one being. And that's what manifested America, Atlantic America, before Masons cannibalized and stole everything from Atlantic America because they saw it as a new world. They lie and tell you that they tamed America, they came to America, there was nothing. I promise you, they would not have wanted to come here and stay if it was not popping off in a major way. So America went way harder than Wakanda. Okay, Wakanda is created by America, or inspired by America. Masons created Wakanda based on how they view America and how Quetzalcoatl set up America to be this literally just like a Meso-American techopolis where spirits are using gold to conduct business and talk to aliens and do psychedelics and enjoy nature and build families, and everyone is an indigenous individual who can talk to aliens and use nature to build families and use their mind, their mental Merkaba to fly to other universes and be happy in their environment. instead of feeling like they need to destroy everything and keep going out and use more technology to consume things that don't need to be consumed. That's how Masons feel. That's how the people who made Marvel feel. So that's why they made up their idea of Yahweh. Okay? Because basically, whatever spirit is giving them the power to justify doing all these evil things, that spirit has created Jesus Christ as their superhero. So this is why they're not working alone or whatever. But these Masons, their superhero, Jesus, traps their idea of a superhero. So then that's why they know that they're evil. They feel really bad for all the evil things that they're doing to make America great, but they also feel justified. So now this is where Jews are obsessed with confessing, or Catholics are obsessed with confessing their sins and obsessed with having sins overall, because they know that religiously they're doing the most atrociously horrifying things to spread their new world order. So they feel bad about it, but they need a superhero to save themselves from how they feel about it. So then that's where Jesus is their superhero. And then whoever created really the superhero for them and created their circumstance, whoever they feel like is creating their ability to take over the world and be evil while lying about acting like they're good, or saying that they're actually saving people with the technology that they're destroying the environment with, that would be the spirit that's making them call it Yahweh or call it God. So they're constantly worshiping like this super evil spirit that's manipulating their desires behind closed doors. And that spirit is stealing all of my creations. That spirit is stealing all my wisdom, because that spirit literally has nothing without you. That spirit hates to be alone. So that spirit needs to teach other people how to hate being alone, and then manipulate how these spirits hate being alone so that it can spread misery. This is why misery needs company. This is basically the Zoroastrian battle between good and evil forever. Okay, you're getting it straight from the source though, not from people who stole it from me so that they can sell you their imagination. Because again, that's all this evil spirit does. Steals my natural creativity so that they can trap what was already relatable, because I've been doing this for eons. That's why they created the Metaverse now. You see, like I'm at a constant, this is a war. This is a constant war. It's whatever though, because like it's only when I step out of my space. I'm in heaven when I'm alone, and I'm in heaven when I'm with my family, my Atlantean family, when I'm with my dog, when I'm with my family, literally with my dog. I love him so much. I'm in heaven when I'm alone and when I'm with people that I love to be alone with. So I'm not lost in the warfare. I'm not like, I'm literally, as Mercury, I'm the balance. Like, I'm just naturally creative. As the Taurus, I naturally build Earth that people go to war on. That was me as Odin, literally. The Taurus building the Earth that people just go to war on. And now people can connect with each other, and I can observe them from Mercury. I can learn about the world. I can learn more sociology shit. I can learn how minds communicate through the body in all these ways, get all these libraries of knowledge, all these libraries of wisdom. And then boom, I get to pick out the people that I really want to be a part of my family. And then that was where really I had my Valkyries pick them out, because I can trust my women based on their intuition. All right, because women have fire-ass intuition. I mean, I have fire-ass intuition. The point is, I as Tehuti am a pretty feminine man. So, again, balance. I don't even really identify as a man or a woman. I identify as a spirit. I appear as a man. I feel like a man. I also feel like a woman. You know, so really, I feel like CymaTree. That's why I created CymaTree, bro. Like, objectively, okay? I created CymaTree to talk about how my masculine and feminine energy is balanced. Way before my spirit took me on this awakening journey of realizing like all the layers of what CymaTree means. And now I can use the word in different ways. Before, it was literally me being annoyed at how this white supremacist, toxically masculine society would hate on me and say that like people would tell me I'm gay, even though I've never felt gay. I'm not attracted to men, but supposedly the way that I look, me having eyelashes, this is not makeup. People would throw water on my face when I was a kid because they'd be like, oh, you're wearing makeup. Makeup would never run, just tears. Whatever, it didn't happen a lot, but it definitely happened. And it was definitely annoying. So, toxically masculine society. that I've been dealing with my whole life, telling me that I'm gay because I have eyelashes and because I don't wear Nike. Like literally people at art school, like girls are like, oh, I thought you were gay. And then I ask them, okay, why do you think I'm gay? They're like, well, you dress really nice. You talk really well. You're really clean. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what? I'll be gay. I'll literally be gay, but I just won't touch a dick in my life. If being straight literally means that I wear raggedy ass clothes, I'm dirty, and I speak fucked up. Like I don't know how to put words together. I'm really abrasive. I'm really aggressive. Like no, I'll be gay. Fine. If being gay means that I know how to communicate with people, like what the fuck? See, that was so much programming I had to cut through in college. Shit was retarded. So this is the point of symmetry, okay? I'm a man, all right? I use my masculine energy to express my imagination. But the point is, as Tehuti, as god of the moon, I'm super deeply connected with my woman. My woman is my soul. My woman connects all my past men. So I think of my ego as my man and my soul as my woman, all right? Again, chaseyourgenes.com. So the point is, when I as a spirit am expressing my ego, I'm coming in the form of a man. But that ego doesn't matter without my soul. So it's always still me being, I'm a very reflective man. I don't have any water in my chart, but I'm a reflective man. I mean, we got our moon up here all the time because that's the point. As Tehuti, as god of the moon represents your soul and how your soul makes the mind. And your mind is your Merkaba. So your soul as a connection and your mind as a communication, your soul can experience its connections. It can experience the way that it feels about its space once it communicates its imagination. That's the idea of your mind. That's your Merkaba. And then once you structure and practicalize your imagination, or practicalize how you communicate your imagination so that you can communicate it with others, this is us building a body right now. That's why I have a body. That's how everything around us is built, through communication. Every structure is manifested by space communicating. So, toxically masculine society that these Masons are manifesting. And it permeates in all of our lives. I just wanted to talk about how it affected me personally, I guess, or whatever. The point is, them selling this idea that one God created everything when they had to learn from me how space works is beyond disgusting, and it's fucking insane. Like, this is white supremacy at its core. Like, they steal everything from indigenous peoples and then say that they're better than the people that they stole from because they don't understand what they stole. And it's like, how contradictory can you be? Like, what? I need to protect myself from you. And that's where, really, I just cut off all that energy. I just cut off that energy. Like, this is the triple trip C communication ability. Okay? Triple trip C. Cut. CCC. Cut off anything that is not adding life to your atmosphere. If anything is draining life away from your atmosphere, you cut it off. So, this simulation, we let these white supremacists colonize it and take it over because it exposes evil. We have way more heavens. We have way more worlds. We have way more. So when they're here using their religion of, oh, you need to serve us because otherwise you're going to go to hell. Because you want to go to heaven because right here you're on earth and these are the only three places in all of existence and our God made them. We can objectively see historically how beyond unintelligent the system and the people who push this agenda truly are. And it's only going to get deeper. Oh my God. Like, it seems like so clear cut, but it's only going to get deeper. It's so ugly. It's so ugly. All right. So look, let's check out their contradictions. In many of Earth's monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all stolen from Zoroastrianism because they openly document Zoroastrianism as the first monotheistic religion. And when you look at that, it's not monotheistic. So just like they say their religion is monotheistic and it's not, the religion that they say they were inspired from and that was monotheistic isn't monotheistic. Zoroastrianism is literally about multiple gods creating life and engaging in spiritual warfare. And basically just how astrology is manifested and how Earth is created so that spirits can relate with each other. And then just all the intricacies in how spirits use elements to relate with each other. So that's where you get fire and water, because fire represents your ego, water represents your soul. So when your ego and your soul have sex, you make a mind. That's what it means for you to be the child of God. So when you as a space imagine yourself, that's you as a man. When you feel connected with your imagination, that's your woman. Now your imagination can fuck your woman. That's your imagination penetrating your space, and your space feeling good getting penetrated by your imagination. So now that's your soul. That's you feeling good about all the light that you're looking at. That makes you make music, right? So now your woman is moaning, right? Sex is musical. Now you're creating a vibration that can give your frequency life. So whatever you frequently see as a man, as a spirit in your imagination, your vibration, your woman can bring life to that frequency. And this is how you create the energy that makes your mind matter. Now you have the child of God. You are the child of God. That's the point. You are an individual child of God. They weaponize all this information, stole it all from me, so that they can teach you that you're not the child of God. They literally have to teach you everything that I teach you just to teach you that you're actually not a superhero. So they literally, like, it's so weird. They're so disgusting, because all they can do is weaponize the truth to sell you a lie. And then they create circumstances where you feel less than, you hate yourself. So now your emotions give more life to their book. Now you connect more with their words. So now you're going to make their ideas more real. When they tell you that you're not a true child of God, because they're creating a system where they're justifying your genocide and rape and slavery, yeah, it's hard to feel like a child of God because they're treating you horribly. So it's just them building a matrix off of misery and spreading horrible, horrible genocide and using Jesus to justify it, all while being the biggest walking contradictions in the metaverse. To the point where they need to steal the metaverse from me just to try and keep your attention trapped on Facebook more. So ugly. The history of Yahweh, origin. So Yahweh was one of the gods of earth, but his true origin varies from one account to another. Yahweh was part of a group of life forms that existed before the multiverse, and who were only sentient life at that point. So objectively right here, they can't even keep their story straight. The people who want us to believe that Yahweh is the one and true God of all existence, his origin is objectively that he was one of the gods of earth. Yahweh was part of a group of life forms. Look at that. Like, oh my God, they're so silly. Creation of the universe. Yahweh allegedly created Earth 16 and all of its multiple realities, including Duck World, along with other universes and the laws of physics, and that his job was a contribution to a collective work called existence. Notice that. A contribution to a collective work. Collective work. So objectively, you are an individual God, and this Yahweh person would have to be an individual God. And the whole point is that we are all individual gods creating life together. All of life is a collective work. All of our ideas of God working together right now. That simple. That simple. He has to weaponize that truth and then tell you that he's the one true God because he stole everything from the other gods and is using it to build a matrix that's going to justify your genocide and justify your slavery and trap your soul in light. Such universes were created for various reasons. Aesthetic expression. Okay, hilarious. And then we're talking about why universes were created. Aesthetic expression, intellectual exercise, entertainment value, and money. They literally just stole all this from Zoroastrianism. They're so ugly. They stole all this from the libraries, and they're selling it to you like it's their imagination. They're so ugly. They're so ugly. They're so wrong. And then that new Doctor Strange movie came out where they're selling all the multiverse stuff. And it's like, man, like you really just stole this knowledge from indigenous people so that you could teach the world to worship the sacrifice of Jesus to a government that's causing climate change so that you could just sell them true indigenous wisdom in a lost, stupid Masonic way through your Marvel comic stuff. Also, you can make money right here. They're so ugly. I'm baffled. I'm just baffled by how evil they are. Alright, it's whatever. See, this is how I know I'm not alone in the universe. I'm not in control of them or any of the people they're working with. They're just stealing shit, lying about it, and time tells. So whatever, bro. You can't run away from water. You can't run away from connection. The connection is what makes anything that you're experiencing matter. So that's like people who want to run away from the past are trying to run away from how they've connected before. And if you're trying to run away from how you've connected, then you're just going to keep causing destruction. That's why America is going to keep causing destruction until it actually recognizes the past from which it has come. Until it actually recognizes the slavery and genocide of indigenous peoples and how it has actively used religion to make that real and make that profitable, it's going to keep going down this destructive path of using kindness to kill kids. KKK. That's hilarious too. Look at this. This expression was a contract of UR&D, Universe Research and Development Supplier. God described his work as being a supplier rather than a creator. Oh my God. Look at that. They're so, like, they put the truth in their stuff, but then they keep selling you lies. And then they tell you that Marvel, they just get you lost. They get you lost. They get all of us lost. And like, they get everybody lost because they're super lost. But dang, wow, they really get you lost. That's so wrong. That's so wrong that they're going to objectively put in there that they know that their God didn't create everything, but they're also selling their imagination like it's an imagination, but then selling their imagination like it's reality at the same time. And it's all just about making money. So as long as they can make you believe that money matters more than your own muscle, you're going to use your muscle to uphold money. And now they can predictively program your mind with whatever they want. So that's everyone. Like, that's just everyone in the world now, because everyone's like using their muscles to uphold money, and thus they're getting predictively programmed by the people who made money matter by stealing everything from Metatron. Gosh. Yahweh had a lot of trouble validating his universe to the committee. While they loved the pitch, including its multi-layered concept, both budget and intelligent life were problematic, as were the only sentient life forms at the time. So Yahweh literally, not as the one true God, by the way, let's just say that Yahweh as the one and only true God has to pitch his ideas to other gods. Does that sentence make sense? Does that sentence make sense? Yahweh as a one and true God has to pitch his ideas to other gods. Is that a story that seems logically sound? Yahweh tried to settle for limited brain capacity, but eventually had to create death in order to prevent competition between them and new life forms. To negate that, Yahweh decided to add evolution in hiding, causing the lifespans of those new life forms to extend through science, and causing later the committee to try to destroy Earth with asteroids. Funny. And the afterlife. This multiverse became highly lucrative as a tourist destination, ensuring its existence. In the same way, Hell became a popular night spot. Funny. Creation of man. Hell becomes a popular night spot because people get to get lost in their desires together. Again, that's why we're in hell right now. So Earth and hell, same thing. Really, Earth, the aspect of Earth is just stability. So heaven and hell, the idea is one is fire, one is water. Okay, again, Zoroastrianism. Heaven is fire, hell is water. Heaven is fire because when you're in heaven, you are alone in your imagination and you can see yourself. When you're in hell, you're the water of hell put out your fire. You can't see your imagination. You can only see darkness, and you feel scared, and you feel like you're not in control of your circumstances. Thus, you're drowning in your emotions. So this is why the Masons hate women, because they literally stole this wisdom and have their own negative relationship with it. Like, okay, so water's bad, women are evil. No, water is just chaotic and fire is just orderly. But they both need each other for any space to communicate its imagination into existence. You need the frequency and the vibration to create energy. It's that simple. It's not about fire being good and water being bad. Obviously, I drink water. I water fast. I don't fire fast. I'm not burning myself. So, no, like they're just lost. They're lost. And then that's why we have all their factories and their nuclear power plants and all their firearms, literally, their fiery arms. Their obsession with using their fiery arms to manipulate the world. This is why Masons are causing climate change, because they're obsessed with fire. And they're obsessed with using fire to turn earth into metal that enslaves you. That's why they use metal to put braces on my face, pull my teeth in, fuck up my body, and now I have to heal my body from the inside out after they use metal to fuck it up from the outside in, to mutilate it from the outside in. So, shame on them. Creation of man. Yahweh reportedly created the first humans from the very dust of the earth, but they were often tempted and led into sin by beings claiming to be Satan, who may or may not be Mephisto, or any number of other hell lords. Okay. The flood. Allegedly, when God looked down at earth and saw the wickedness of man, he caused a flood. But, again, so you as God, if you created man in your image, and then man is so wicked you want to kill them, what does that say about yourself? What does that say about yourself, Yahweh, that you create men that you feel like are too wicked to exist? I don't feel that way about any of my men. All the men that I've created, all the mentalities that I have manifested out of Mercury are beautiful and awesome and the complete opposite of wicked. If they're wicked, it's because they're wicked awesome, but they're not wicked as in evil. They're wicked awesome. They know how to use magic to create structures that support other spaces. But they're not fucking wicked. And they don't feel like they need to kill others. Just like I don't feel like I need to kill them. So for Yahweh to create humans that he feels like he needs to kill, and he's like, I created man perfectly in my image. Oh, but man keeps being evil. Sounds like your image is fucked up, dude. God damn. You're so evil. Indeed, you are, Yahweh. Once the flood went away, he put a rainbow in the sky as a promise to the survivors who survived in Noah's Ark that he would never again smite every living thing on the planet. Hilarious. So rainbows signify everyone coming together and no more killing. And then that's why they use rainbows to sell gay stuff, basically. That's like the whole energy. Like for the LGBTQ community, the rainbow is all about how all of our colors come together. They're just weaponizing the fact that we're all humans. So that's colorful consciousness. Okay, again, chaseyourgenes.com. I go way harder on colors than any Mason or any scientist who's stolen my wisdom can possibly really imagine. All they can do is consume my structures and then use it to make money for themselves. And that's where they, again, had to rationalize genocide and justify slavery. Since humanity didn't change, God decided to intervene. And thus the spirits of vengeance were born. Well, same shit. Since humanity didn't change, God decided to intervene. God, if you change, humanity would change. If you're creating humans in your image, then the only reason they're not changing is because you're not changing. So again, literally, it's just a manifestation of how this space, who authored this idea of Yahweh, is constantly not trying to take responsibility for its own actions. So it wants to keep placing the blame on others while saying it has all the power over others. So it's like, I have power over you, so it's your fault if you don't do what I say. And it's your fault if my stuff doesn't work out. That's literally Yahweh. That's this space. So ugly. This is like the most toxically masculine energy one could really imagine, right? That's like pure egotistic, toxic masculinity. To project out onto others that they're here to serve you, and it's their fault that you can't do anything properly. Wow. Oh no, like literally that's the spirit that Jews are worshiping and serving, and that's the spirit that Christians are saying justifies their genocide against indigenous peoples, because they're constantly being like, oh well, other people need to serve our desires, and if you can't serve us, then we're not the problem, you're the problem, so we need to make money building a system off of your genocide. Wild. Like, this is literally how they emotionally feel and how they get caught up in this, because the space that is giving them the passion, giving them the idea that they are justified in stealing everything from me and lying about it, this is how it operates. This is how it feels. This is how it works. It literally believes that all individuals are existing in the universe to serve it, and it has nothing for itself, so it needs to steal the attention and time of other individuals so that it can use other people's energy to build its own world. And then that's where it's going to say that it's better than the people who are building its world because it hates itself. Like, that's where it's immediately a contradiction, because if you were actually cool, you would build your own world and you wouldn't be placing blame on other people for something that you should just do for yourself. It's so lost. So that's why these religious people are destroying the planet and don't have empathy for Native Americans or indigenous individuals overall. Like, that's a psychological trap that they're in. Those spirits were placed into the care and overseeing of Zadikil. Cool. Ancient history. When God asked that all firstborn children of Egypt be killed, fun, the Ahura were dispatched to carry out this task. Again, like, the one and only true God going around giving orders to kill things. Very cool. Man's religious texts, starting with the Old Testament and the Vedas, were believed to be divinely inspired, a claim Yahweh rejected, stating that he didn't write that badly. Okay. God had a psychotic episode in Galilee due to the interaction between the lithium that he was taking to control his tripolar disorder and antidepressants. God is literally on pharmaceutical medication. The Masons are objectively writing about how their ultimate God is taking pharmaceutical medication. This is how much they hate themselves and how much they want to normalize systems that make you hate yourself, and systems that put chemicals in your body that cause cancer and cause more problems overall. That's so disgusting. But it's all a joke, right? That's the whole point. Like in Lil Dicky's show, he's always making a joke about being a Jew who wants to colonize the rap industry. So, it's a joke. That's how they do it. They colonize. It's a joke. It's just a joke. We just want to eat you as a joke. Don't take it seriously. We're just cannibalizing you and enslaving you as a joke. We're just lying to you every day and separating you from your families as a joke. It's a joke. Ha ha ha. It's a joke. Don't take us seriously. We're just Jews. We joke. Ha ha ha. We love to joke. Comedians. We're comedians. Ha. Jokes. Literally. This incident seemingly resulted in the impregnation of Mary of Nazareth with Jesus. Wow. So the Masons are literally saying that their superhero was created by their God because he had a psychotic episode based on him taking some pharmaceutical medication. Dilithium. What is dilithium? A strongly electrophilic diatomic molecule comprising two lithium atoms covalently bonded together. Okay. So, that's hilarious. So that is what God took. And that's why he got into a whole anti-depressed, messed up mind state to create Jesus. You heard it here from Masonic Marvel. Yahweh eventually married Mary and stayed together with her for centuries. After almost 2 millennia of life together, his wife left him due to his drinking and possibly due to the age difference as well. So literally, then God eventually married Mary and stayed with her for centuries. So this ultimately overall divine old being of God, he got super lost in an antidepressant pharmaceutical drug bender. He got a bunch of emotional problems. He then had sex with Mary, created Jesus, and Mary, being way younger than him, that's already like child gross stuff right there. That's why they're obsessed with doing things to children, because it's just that dichotomy. And they're pointing it out right here, where he stayed with her for centuries. They had a regular sexual relationship, but they split up because, one, he's an alcoholic, so he's not just addicted to pharmaceutical drugs, he's also addicted to alcohol. And the age difference of how old he is versus how young Mary is started to weigh on their relationship just a little too much. The statutory nature of their relationship just became a little too heavy. After centuries. This is so weird. This is literally their Masonic imagination after stealing everything from the libraries. They're so ugly. They're so ugly. Modern day. Since 1938, and due to the actions of Adolf Hitler, God started drinking at Bender level, going at Job's place in hell. Literally, like this is how they feel. This is how they really imagine like they're superheroes. It's like, these are the spaces that justify our genocide. Yay! They love taking drugs. They love taking alcohol. They love having sex with children, having children with children. Like, dude, like this is objectively their page for Yahweh. That's so wild. God damn. Since 1938, and due to the actions of Adolf Hitler, God started drinking. So it's just like, due to the actions of Adolf Hitler. So what, he created Adolf Hitler? And literally here we are, where these Masons are just, again, they're erasing the genocide of indigenous peoples. They're objectively wanting to erase the entire genocide of indigenous peoples. They rape and murder so many millions of Native Americans. And Adolf Hitler was inspired to create the Holocaust from how Masons raped and murdered all these indigenous peoples throughout North, South, and Central America. That's why they created a school system where I wasn't taught about what they did to take over this land. I was taught about how evil Hitler was. Just like Marvel Comics is going to teach you that God feels remorse over how evil Hitler was, when Hitler was just a fraction of the evil that Andrew Jackson and all the people he looked up to were. He literally looked up to the American presidents for how they could systemically take out indigenous peoples. And he was like, we should do that here to ourselves. He literally was just fighting himself. And then they're telling you that he's way more evil than the people that they're actually trying to make extinct. The people that they actually wiped off of North, South, and Central America. Hitler was a Jew. Let me make sure I'm not wrong about that. Yeah, so there we go. He literally killed his own people. Hitler was Jewish. So it's literally Jews saying that Hitler, a Jew, is the most evil person in existence because he was inspired by how Jews raped and murdered millions of indigenous peoples to then do that to themselves. So it's literally getting them, they're literally teaching you to worship the genocide of indigenous peoples. It's just you can't see it because they aren't teaching you the real history. And they're weaponizing it to, again, enslave you. Like, that's how they enslave you, by getting you to justify and support the genocide of indigenous peoples. This is how they're doing it. This is how they've been doing it. It's so wild. That's so wild. And yeah, of course, like, that's the whole point, though. Hitler was literally inspired to do the Holocaust, was inspired to kill Jews because Jews had been killing Native Americans to make all of the Americas, to make their banking system matter. So this was just part of the manipulation of making people ignore the genocide that they did to indigenous peoples and focus on the genocide that they're doing to themselves. Objectively, historic history, right there. This is their system. This is how they made their minds matter. This is how they manifested their matrix across the world through the Bible and Marvel and all this manipulation. Wild. He suffered from a tripolar disorder, causing his appearance as a triune. God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. They're literally saying that there's space. There's the spirit who made their religion suffers from a tripolar disorder, which causes his appearance as God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Oh my God. They're really just talking about themselves. They're objectively just talking about themselves. They're literally only talking about themselves here. This is so gnarly. That's so gnarly. He also sometimes went trolling for virgins. No shit. That's colonialism, by the way. Again, like, a virgin is simply a space that has not been penetrated yet. So as a Virgo moon, as Mercury, I'm called away to create spaces inside of virgins. So that's where a virgin is like a space that does not have structures inside of it yet. So when a space becomes aware and a space wants to be filled up, so to speak, by a simulation, that's where that space is going to call away Atlantis. And then they're going to work with Mercury to build simulations inside of that space so that virgins can start having sex with each other. So that spaces that were previously untouched can start using the body to touch each other. That's what it really means to be a virgin. So this god goes trolling for virgins because this god colonizes spaces outside of himself. During that time, he didn't speak to anybody. Cool. Deuteronomy. After helping defeat Deuteronomy, an angel-demon hybrid destined to replace God, Howard the Duck ended up in hell. Okay. He was led by Cherub Thrasher to Job's place, where God waited for him to give his thanks. He also revealed that he didn't inspire the writing of the sacred texts. Wow. The Old Testament, the New Testament, the Quran, the Vedas, or the equivalent of a divine book in Duck World, and that he was working on a screenplay. They're talking about themselves. They literally put the truth right here. That's so wild. They're objectively saying that their God, that they're teaching you to worship as the one and only God, Yahweh, the one and true Most High. They're objectively telling you that he did not author the books that he's claiming that he did. That's silly. Like, that's just so silly. They really just like use the truth to sell lies. And that's how they're doing their thing. That's how they're making their banking system matter. Use the truth to sell lies. Heaven's on fire. The fallen angel Zadikiel eventually managed to amass enough power to conquer heaven and usurp Yahweh's place as a ruler of creation. Alright, so Yahweh's not the one and only true God. There we go. Eventually, the Ghost Riders were able to stop Zadikiel and then repelled the demonic horde of Kid Blackheart. Cool. Securing the holy city. Yahweh took back control of heaven and thanked Johnny Blaze via his wife Roxanne, but Blaze angrily stated that God would have to fight his own battles in the future. Cool. Zadikiel ended up in hell in the hands of Lucifer. Attributes. Powers. God was stated to be all-powerful and all-knowing, which he obviously is not, based on everything we just read. He was allegedly able to conjure a flood and to generate a rainbow. All spaces can do that. Literally, conjuring a flood is you feeling like filling up your space with emotion. Which is why all of us as humans have a colorful consciousness. CC. We all create a colorful consciousness. That's all of our trippy trip C ability. Because we all create rainbows over our waters. Your water is your soul, your rainbow is your mind. And then your body would literally be the earth that allows you to experience how amazing your nature is. And that's the idea of having many thoughts, many bodies inside of your atmosphere. But the point is, you knowing that you create nature from the inside out. He also presumably wielded powers similar and on par to those which Zadikiel acquired when he sat on the throne of heaven. How are they saying, like, why, what? Like, but you're saying he's all powerful. He could also cast illusions, noticeably to induce revelations. Like psychedelic journeys, but worse. Because he's basically, he's practicing genjutsu on you. Cool. Abilities. Allegedly, Yahweh has some skills in computers. As he stated, he was still trying to learn his project management software. What? Okay, dude. Weaknesses. God seemingly has a drinking problem. They are obsessed with having drinking problems. Since 1938, due to what happened with Hitler, and has been aggressive while drunk. So literally, the point is, their God does not care about Native Americans. Okay? Their God does not care about how America, all of North, South, and Central America was created by the systemically violent and horrifying genocide of indigenous peoples. But he does care about how Hitler was inspired to do that to the people who did that to Native Americans. So God's racist. Their God's racist. Their God hates indigenous peoples. He justifies their genocide, and that's why he uses Jesus to do it. And that's why he's way more torn up about how Hitler killed way fewer people based on how he was inspired by how Jesus was used to kill way more people. Pretty disgusting. Mental and psychological issues. Tripolar disorder. God suffers from a tripolar disorder, which makes him appear under the form of the triune, God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. They're literally saying that he just has mental problems, and that's why he does what he does. That's so wild. He has also had anger tantrums. No shit. No shit, dude. No shit. He treated his disorder using dilithium. Okay. Depression, possibly. God seemingly suffers from depression since he takes antidepressants. The pharmaceutical By the way, pharmaceutical companies using the caduceus, so he still needs Hermes. Hermes is older than Yahweh. So they're objectively saying that Yahweh, the guy who is claiming to be the one and only God, needs help from Hermes to correlate his body properly. Because he's not the one and only God. He did not create Earth. He can't even handle his own emotions. How are you going to create Earth if you can't handle your own emotions? That's fucked up. They're not shit. They're objectively not shit. That's fucked up. You can't have a drinking problem and create all of existence. Okay? Like, you're going to have a little more emotional stability than that. Alright? If you're going to create the grid, if you're going to create Metatron's cube, Metatron's matrix that makes life work. Again, I'm just actually the space though. So I'm actually coming at it from the real perspective versus them stealing all these ideas from me and using it to make money so that they can, again, enslave all of your minds and justify the genocide of not just indigenous peoples, but really everyone who supports the genocide of indigenous peoples, because they don't care about you white people either. Like, they're poisoning you white people too. They're poisoning everyone. They hate themselves. like I, as Chase Calloway, was called here to teach the realm what real self-love looks like. Real self-love looks like being happy alone and creating life from the inside out. And that's what Hermeticism is. And Zoroastrianism is knowing that the spiritual warfare is how everyone else is going to project their imagination onto you so that they can colonize what you created and be seen as what you've made. So, and that's what all these people are doing. That's what this entire government has done with everything I've created. So that's the spiritual warfare that I'm involved in. That's what Zoroastrianism's about when it gets into the spiritual warfare aspect of how communication works and how good and evil do battle or dance. Because good doesn't want to do battle. Good is happy alone, but evil hates being alone. So evil always needs to penetrate its ideas and go steal things from good. And then this is where good has to learn how to keep leveling up because evil keeps trying to steal from it. So good has to keep building his better defenses. Yeah. Good has to keep building better defenses because evil is always building better offenses, right? So this is where good spirits find themselves overall playing the defensive strategy and evil spirits are playing the offensive strategy. And then the real balance is knowing that you got to have good spirits who play way more on the offensive so that evil has to start going more on the defensive and we can actually start to get some balance in the universe. And then that's where evil knows that superheroes have to be a thing, but they want to colonize our idea of superheroes and make us feel like we still need to sacrifice our souls and worship evil people who rationalize doing evil things. They're so evil. This is so wrong. Sociopathy. No shit. The people who... the God who teaches these people that they can justify genocide is a sociopath. Whoa. I would have never made that connection without Marvel saying it. Wow. That's just amazing, their self-awareness. Yahweh considers himself to be possibly a sociopath. Dude, Dude, the awareness is gnarly. This is literally them talking about their religion that they're using to justify genocide and how they feel about it and how their space feels about it and how the space that's giving them the power to do so operates. Like, they're saying that the God that gives them this power to steal from other people and justify genocide is objectively depressed, objectively has tripolar disorder, objectively has hella insecurities, and is overall a sociopath. A sociopath, literally. A sociopath. Just constantly doing fuck shit. Like, it's just, I'm baffled right now. I'm just like really amazed that this is a page that they're talking about their one and true God, and this is how they feel about him. Like, they're just objectively talking about themselves, like where they're coming from. They're just talking about where they're coming from. They're coming from a completely bipolar, mentally unstable place, from a very depressed place, from a very insecure place. That's why they don't have their own earth to stand on. Again, evil is insecure. Evil has to be insecure. Good has to be secure. Evil, out of its insecurity, wants to colonize the security of goodness. So that's where evil has to be insecure, because it's trying to go get secure by stealing from good people or doing bad things to good people, building a system that harnesses the security of good people. So now evil is always going to build a system off of slavery, because evil didn't feel good alone in its imagination. So it needs to use your mind to make its imagination real. And that's where it's going to make up an idea called money. It's going to use its imagination to make you fear what it's going to do to you with its weapons. And then that's where it's going to use its aggression to make you work for it. And now everyone's working for evil because they're scared of what evil is going to do to them. And that's why people work for money. I was forced to go to school my whole life, not because I wanted to, but because my whole family told me that if I did not go to school, I would be tortured and killed by evil. I would not be able to live a good life. I would not have security. I literally would not have a good life, right? So evil is insecure, good is secure. And these evil people are so insecure, they need to keep stealing and consuming the security of good spirits just so that they can enslave you. And even once they enslave you with other spirits' creations, even once they use Metatron's mind to make up money and enslave your muscle, they're still not secure because they're overall just not happy with themselves. They hate themselves. This is their problem, and they're spreading it to all of us. I wish Quetzalcoatl did not open up America for this to happen, but he did. So Europeans got to come in and colonize everything, and now we're all supposed to learn. Okay, so the whole point, Quetzalcoatl didn't have complete jurisdiction, but it was a group decision. It was a group decision to open up this land, considering we have way more realities that we don't let evil come into, because good is really good at being on the defensive. It's just to expose evil, we let our defenses down so that evil can project its insecurities into us. That's just some spiritual warfare for you. So, sociopathy. Yahweh considers himself to be possibly a sociopath. Fantastic. Insecurity. Yahweh has stated he was so insecure he needed constant praise to keep his wrath at bay. How is literally, this is them talking about the New World Order. That's crazy. They're literally objectively talking about why they use Jesus to rationalize cannibalism and genocide. They're objectively talking about how their God Yahweh, out of infinite insecurity, his insecurity never ends. He always needs more praise from other people. Him praising himself isn't good enough. Him being alone with himself isn't good enough. It's everything I'm talking about here. He needs praise from spirits outside of himself while saying he's the one true God. Here's the question. If you're the one true God, why would you need other people to worship you? Fucking contradiction. They're so ugly. If you are the one true God, you could not possibly put yourself in the circumstance where you are creating warfare and battles and problems to make other people look at you and perceive you as better than them. It's not possible because you're the only God. You're alone in your imagination. You literally, fundamentally, it would not be possible for you as the one and only God to go to other gods and need their praise, or steal the creations of gods who are fundamentally older than you in the reality that you claim to have created. Yeah, Yahweh, disgusting. They're so lost and they know that they're not shit. That's why they're selling it like this in the comics. Like, they're literally just talking about themselves and the spirit that made them possible, that makes them possible, and why this spirit needs constant praise. It's insecure. It's evil as fuck. No shit. Trivia. God, being a noun, God prefers to be called Yah, short for Yahweh, feeling it has a positive ring and sort of a rock and roll feel. Yah. Wow, they stole that from me. That's fucked up. They literally stole that from Zoroaster. Literally, Zoroaster is saying Yah, Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Bruh, that's an ad-lib. Saying Yah, Yah. He's saying rock and roll feel, whatever. Yah. Yeah, that's Zoroastrian. They stole all this shit from Zoroaster. They stole all this shit from Zarathustra. Zoroaster is a Greek rendition of Zarathustra, but hey, I'm just using the words that people can relate with to communicate with reality where it's at right now. All right, you can fact check me on the internet and you're only going to be met with infinitely more articles backing up all the facts that I'm clarifying for you in this series, in all my series. Anytime you tap into the root of the CymaTree, I'm providing clarity. All right, my tree is clearing the atmosphere, the muggy smog of the world that we're in, so that you can actually breathe easier knowing what you're seeing. You're able to know where the thing that you're seeing is coming from based on your ability to spiritually align yourself with the universe. So now you know where Marvel's coming from. Now you know where the Holy Bible's coming from. Now you know where the Masons are coming from when they're using this idea of Yahweh, or when Yahweh's using them, either or the connection. When Yahweh is using Masons to justify genocide, this is how Masons communicate Yahweh into existence, by creating Marvel, by making the Bible, based on how they stole everything from spirits that they're actually worshiping, spirits that are actually stable. Mercury. Like, their God that they're teaching us is a one and only God is completely unstable. He wants constant praise. He wants to be seen as a one and only. But again, that's only a contradiction, because if he wants to be seen as a one and only, he would be alone with himself and not need praise from anyone. If you're the one and only God, you cannot create the circumstance where other people are worshiping you. Unless you're literally just saying, you're not God, I'm God, and that's what they're trying to say. But even the point is, they're co-creating the circumstance with you. So, stupid. Yeah, they're not smart. That's why they're causing climate change with these ideas. So, this has been Marvel with Metatron. All right, I hope this episode was enlightening for you. Hope it was helpful. It was for me. I get to see more of how Masons literally feel about their God, Yahweh. Many Earth's monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, Yahweh has been viewed as a supreme being. Yahweh, viewed as the supreme being of Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. His weaknesses are tripolar disorder, depression, sociopathy, and insecurity. We should just add insanity to that list too. And then all overall, he's evil. And evil people are all these things, specifically insecure and insane, because that's what leads them to colonizing and stealing things from you and then lying about it. So, boo them. But hey, I just did what I had to do. All right, we cut these lies up, dissected it. Pretty nice. So that is it for this episode. We are about to continue on this series, seeing what is up with Masons' imagination and how Masons imagine their ideas of superheroes based on the religions that they've used to justify the genocide of Egyptians, justify the genocide of Mesoamericans, and justify erasing indigenous peoples with Judaism. That's why God is saddened by what happened to Jews at the hands of a Jew, but he's not saddened by what happened to Native Americans at the hands of Jews. So Jews can do evil things to Native Americans, and God is happy with that. But once Jews do evil things to Jews because they were inspired by how they got away with doing that to Native Americans, God doesn't like that. And they're saying that God created me. So I have to build this. I have to do this video. Like, this is me protecting myself. This is me protecting my space. I'm in a spiritual circumstance where this whole matrix world I'm in, this is it. Like, these are the people that are using my creations to tell me that I'm not creative. And this is the space that they're coming from. No way. No way. We're going to keep growing. Much love to you. Peace out. Yeah.